What's up guys and welcome to Games Re-Up, and today we're taking a nice little look at Wolfenstein 3D, that's right, on the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive if you're from the UK or Japan. This is it. This is basically, it's a very true to the original PC version. So if you know the PC version, you love that version, this is the version you're going to see right here. Let's take a look. So I've been kind of looking around for Wolfenstein on pretty much every different console or, system variant. And I've, obviously I do this with Doom, now Wolf and Duke, but I've obviously stumbled across the Homebrew port of Wolfenstein 3D on Atari Age here. That's right, for the Sega Genesis. And they're basically saying here's a port of the Sega Genesis Mega Drive version by... can't even pronounce that name, written in ASM. It's mostly based on the source code of the Wolfenstein 3D for the PC. It looks and plays true to the original, and basically they're saying it's a technical master. It's a marvel, basically. I mean, is it going to be as good as they say? Let's download it. Let's just, well, first of all, let's let that happen, and we don't want to play that. We want to just download it here. Let's go! Now there's no complaints here so far, because as you can see, this is a very true port of the PC version on the Sega Genesis. That's right, it is basically a port. They ported over the PC version on to the Sega Genesis, and I've got to say it looks great. Now the textures, as you can see in the walls, they're a little bit dumbed down, I'd say, but they're not as bad as you truly expect for a game of this magnitude for its time on the Sega Genesis. It looks pretty good. The other thing is now the game speed. This is not running slow. There's no way this game is running slow. There's no slowdown, or certainly nothing that's noticeable. So what's the crack here? Why is this such a good port? Now we've obviously got to put it down to things like the time. Well, it is basically going to come down to the time and know-how of the development team or person behind this port. I've got to say it looks great. Now what we're going to move on to right now is you're probably going to understand or hear if you just listen to the music. And now listen to the PC version of this music and see if you can hear any difference. I mean, what do we think? I don't think there's a massive difference here. In fact, I think it's pretty damn bang on. Yeah, there's a few little differences, but I would not say anywhere near as bad as you'd kind of expect to fit on a 16-bit game cartridge. Because let's face it, there's a lot of compression that's got to happen here for this to fit onto that cartridge, and I can't really tell the difference. So now let's take a look at the Sega Genesis version right next to the PC version, and let's see if we can actually see any major differences. So as you can see side by side, I think there are a few differences. Now you can see the speed difference now on the PC version compared to the Genesis version, a slightly smaller window, and the graphics, the textures, they're just not quite the same, are they? Will this stop me though playing this on the Sega Genesis instead of the PC version? I'd happily say no, because if we now take a look at the Super Nintendo version versus this Genesis version, I think you're going to see exactly what I mean. So remember what we're looking at here. You're looking at the Sega Genesis version right in front of you right now. Now this, yeah, this is Wolfenstein 3D on the Super Nintendo. I mean, let's just take a nice little look at this. The only thing I could say that looks anyway okay is the little HUD you've got at the bottom. The little face, the little guy that shows you damage. That's kind of cool. The animation is cool. And the gun?
maybe that's about it, but my god, the music is terrible. It's not even the original music. The draw distance is terrible. Dogs are now... They basically look like giant rats. If that's not what they are, I'll be gobsmacked. There's no blood in this game. And the sound effects, they are just shockingly bad. I've got to be honest, you can now see exactly what I'm talking about. This is a pile of... So now you're probably looking at this in a far better light, aren't you? You've just seen the Super Nintendo version, you're now seeing the Sega Genesis version. This is really the best port, I'd say. One of the best ports, at least. Especially on a 16-bit console. This looks great, there's blood. The textures they're pretty good. The music is pretty much on par, although not quite there. Controls are great, and I'm playing this with a Microsoft Xbox 360 controller, which plays and handles this great. You can obviously get a USB Sega Genesis controller for the PC. That would work just as well, if not better, to make it a little bit more authentic. But I love this port. I think they've done a fantastic job. And the link is below on how to play this. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon.